Recording has been started. Okay, so yesterday we missed the recording. Yesterday one of my favorites demo, but somehow I missed it. It come from my heart. So but anyway, I'll just recap, and we'll give this into a public review. So yesterday we started the demo and we talked about our goal is to get the job, not the content. But of course, we never compromise on the content side. Okay, and this program is completely defined for the job orientation. We will not only include Power BI, we will also talk about many other things. Okay, how you get the real-time work, how you need to respond, where you need to respond, how this software development life cycle. So all those stuff we will discuss. And I already given assignment how to search about Power BI and how many experience they are asking, what their roles and responsibility and Power BI side they are asking. So you need to keep track on I and every day since you know when you come to know the Power BI. So every day, just 5 minutes exercise. Just check one, two profiles, put it in Excel. Check the comparison between previous ask and next ask. So, that's what one of the exercise that you guys can do. Power BI is a futuristic tool. That's what I told, and but it's a reporting tool, of course. But it works with AI, artificial intelligence. It works with ML, machine learning. It works with IoT, Internet of Things, deep science, deep learn, data science, deep learning. Okay, and it's a business intelligence tool. What is intelligence? Which tool will talk about past, present, and future, and will able to give the controls to handle the future. Okay, if you apply for business, it's a business intelligence. If you apply for your career, it's a career intelligence. If you apply for your emotions, it is an emotional intelligence. So it is it's a vibrating word. So you can think about it. Okay, this is just one of the most important word that you need to think, like what is intelligence. It's just not too much knowledge or too much clever. It's not just like that. Okay, it is beyond the scenes, like past, present, and future. So it talks about the timeline. It talks about the trend, and it will tell you the clues to control your future. So that's the main thing. So Microsoft Power BI is also from Microsoft, MS BI is also from Microsoft, Excel BI is also from Microsoft. But what is the exact difference? Okay, there are three features that we compared, but of course we can do a lot of comparison, the commonalities and differences. But the main commonalities are ETL or ELT, which is extract, transform, and load. Nothing but SSIS can be done in MSBI, Power Query can be done in Power BI, and Excel also we have same Power Query. But what is the difference? We will come to know. Modeling, SSIS, multidimensional tabular, but in Power BI we call it as a modeling concepts, and in Excel we have a Power Pivot. In SSRS, reporting side, we have SSRS, visualization, and Power View. Okay, so but what is exactly difference? This is the old system. This works on, it required a lot of efforts to implement a BI system, but it's simplified, latest version. Okay, so here at least to finish, like SSIS 5 to 7 people, SSAS at least 2 to 3 people, SSRS at least 3 to 4 people. So at least you can, an average you can take 10 to 15 members, but in Power BI we can finish it by 2 to 3 people. So that's where you see a lot of cost saving for the client, and that's where you get the market. Let's say must be as per the market into 2, Power BI we can into 4, we can just demand if you are a worthful candidate. It's not about worth, it's about the art of asking. Okay, you should know how to negotiate the salary. Okay, so and then we understand that Power BI consists of two major parts. One is Power BI Desktop and Power BI Service. Okay, and along with Power BI Desktop, Power BI Service, we are going to cover with SSAS tabular model. Okay, but SSAS is also multidimensional model that I am not going to cover. Okay, and SSRS, page data reports, SQL Server, and how SQL Server is a vast subject, but we have to be, command how as a Power BI developer we need to connect with Power BI. Okay, how to connect with direct query, how to connect with import connection, how to connect with composite connection, what are the benefits, what are the best practices, how to improve the performance. So how to write a store procedure, how to write a query, how to write a view, and which is the best out of this. So all those things we are going to deeper into the SQL Server with Power BI. So it is one of my unique concepts that I'm going to explain out of this course. And along with that, we are also going to talk about touch upon Azure DevOps, and why. I'll tell you the reasons why we need to cover Azure DevOps boards, because there we actually work as a team member to answer the questions. I mean, working on a task, updating the task. So I will explain you how to do all those stuff. And we also touch upon Fabric if you get a chance. Fabric is yet on still in a preview mode, but it is a four-stroke engine. Okay, so it is equal to 4 Power BIs or more than that we can say, because Fabric contains ADF, Fabric contains ADB, Fabric contains ADLS Gen 2, Fabric contains Synapse, right? So all these features bundled together and giving us a Fabric as a as a SaaS application, Okay, so that's where we are going to touch upon, and we will also talk about the data warehousing concept soon. And daily, I will give you assignments. If you ask, uh, note this. If you ask, then only we will give you. Yesterday, I've given because for the first day. And recording is also when you ask. You need to ask after the course, not whenever you get free. Sometime after the course. Otherwise, will be given in the next day. Okay, so we can plan your career. We can also discuss on one-on-one to understand the consultation of your current situation, and then the plan for your future, what to do and how can we do. So we will also help you in the resume preparation as a free consultation in this one-on-one calls. Okay, so this is the entire course structure. That's what we discussed. Of course, we discussed in detail, but I just finished in 7 minutes. But that's how we discussed, and we have also installed, downloaded, and installed Power BI Desktop yesterday. I've shown you. Okay, and we also created one report called GDP report. So, what is the source of it? The source is a URL. Okay, okay, so and source type is web. So we need to understand between source and source type. Okay, source type is a web connection, and connection type is import. So we will talk about import later, but in a while. But for now, you need to understand. So what is the source? The URL. Okay. If you remember yesterday, there was a URL which we prepared for IMF data. Okay. So I just searched something like this, and if you open this, we clicked on this. Okay. And we went by countries. I just quickly get the URL. I forgot to, all countries. And in the step 2 we will choose this as it is and click continue. Okay, click continue. At least we will select one data set, so let's select the first one. Okay, here you can reduce, let's say 2015, and prepare data, and then this is the report, but this data we are going to get into Power BI. So Control X and come here. I am going to put this as a link to this. So you see the URL. Okay, if you click on this, it should open up. It's opening. Okay, so that's what I just. So for any report, you need to know what is your source. You need to know what is your source type. You need to know the connection type. You need to know authentication type. What is authentication? It's a swiping card. Okay, whether you put a fingerprint, whether you do a swiping, whether you give a iris. So how you enter into the office. Okay, so that is called authentication, whether you are the authentic person to enter into that area or not. So the similar way, whether you are able to connect the source, you are the right person, you are the authorized person to connect the source or not. Okay, so there are authentication types we will discuss in detail in the for the upcoming sessions. But for now, at least you should know all these things for any report. And then the number of tables. Okay, so when it comes to SQL, so that we will discuss. And the report name, what report name. Okay, how you do modeling, because modeling will come before this. So these are all the concepts you should know when you create a report. Of course, we have done very basic thing yesterday. Okay, I've already shown you, but okay. Now today we are going to start with a new report called population analysis, population report. Okay, this is one of my favorite report. I have been teaching this effectively because I realized this is one of the it will cover a lot of Power Query concepts. Okay, a lot of Power Query concepts in depth. Okay, so that's the reason I'm just using this for for almost all the batches. Okay, so what is this population report? So let me explain you the source data. So if you go to this Power BI, we have a source files here, and yesterday we have done GDP report, and today we are planning for this one. So here we have three files basically. Okay, one is Excel and remaining two are CSV files. So if you open the CSV file, open with let's say a notepad, you could see something like this. Okay, so what is this source file? Right, it's a comma separated value. What a source means? Comma separated value. Okay, not what CSV means. C for comma, S means separated, V means value. Comma separated value is a file type. So you can see there are commas, right? So this is file type, and it's a huge data we have. Okay, so you will feel kind of a real time exercise that we are doing. So this is also this thing, and here you see Excel data. Of course, I converted this into Excel. Okay, and if you just observe this, you can see the count is almost 213,130 records. In other words, 2,13,130 records. Okay, so huge data that you could see in each file. So we are going to load all of them, and we will clean them, and finally we will build them in a star schema. So I'll tell you why, and everything we will discuss in detail. So let's open Power BI desktop. So you need to pin your icon here so that we can easily open. So you need to go to start and search for Power BI. So instead I always recommend to use your taskbar effectively. Okay, so let's see, it's opening. So when it's opening, you no need to sign in at this point of time. I will give you service account. As I told you, for service account with premium license, I will give you. Okay. So you don't need to worry at this point of time. When we try to cover service, then you need to start working on what we can do in the service side. So through this course, you are not only going to be a Power BI developer, you are going to be a admin side work also. You can do Power BI service, and you can also be a designer. You can also be a back end, front end. When it's a front end visualization side, so you name it, we do it. So that's how this course is completely in 360 view of Power BI use cases we can cover. Okay, so that's why at end of the day you should be confident enough to take it up any kind of challenge in Power BI. Okay, so that's where I try to boost your confidence levels with this course. Okay, now when you see this UI, yesterday we talked about this, but we did not discuss about this UI. Okay, so you see these are the three one of the model views. They are very important. Okay, so this is a model view. Here you see the table relationships. Okay, and here you see the data. Okay, of course we don't have data, so you don't see, and here we will create the visualization. So these are the very important things that you need to know. And recently they have also updated this mobile layout. Okay, so okay, but previously we used to do only in the service side, but now they are introduced in desktop also. Okay, But now if you come here, you see a lot of visualizations here. Okay, and we see this formatting, and first let's get the data. So what is our data? Our data is CSV, so we don't have here. So let's go to home and let's get data. So this is the gateway to get the data. Okay, here you see a lot of options. You can either go for files, databases, Fabric, Power Platform, Azure Online Services, and others. So Microsoft is saying that we have 99 plus connections. So you don't need to worry about the connection. We will give you a ready-made connection. So you just have to plug and play. Okay, so that's where it is climbing that 99 plus. It's more than 100, which means okay, but every month they will update a new connection, they will test the new connection. So that's where they are not giving exact number, but they are saying 99 plus sources they are able to connect, which is in the record. Okay, record breaker in the current competitor era. Like when you take it Tableau, when you take it ClickView, when you take it any other tools in the market. Okay, Power BI is able to connect highest number of connections, sources basically. Okay, so as I said, our file is a CSV file. So let's connect this. So going here, source files, source folder, population. Now you see there are three CSV files, but let's connect one CSV first. At a time, we can only connect at a time. But what if I want to connect all the files in single time? So there is a process. We will talk about that later, maybe end of the course. Okay, that's how I plan. Okay, so now you see this data is not at all clean. You can easily understand that Afghanistan is repeated multiple times, and here is also Afghanistan, and this some junky data is there. So how we are going to clean this? So we need to clean it. So that is the first goal. So if you want to clean it, you need to transform the data. Otherwise, if it is a clean data, you can simply load it. Of course, we realized we need to clean it. So let's click transform. When you click transform data, the tool inside the tool will open up. What is this? The tool inside the tool. This is Power BI Desktop, but this is Power Query Editor, the ETL tool. Okay. So actually the get data is nothing but the source. You could see here, and whenever you click on, you see get data will open. So I am actually done in from Power Query. So previously the same get data you have seen from Power BI Desktop using get data option. So the same thing that you can see it in the new source also. So click on more. Okay. So this is what you need to understand first. Now let's clean this data. So we realize that there are 6 records which are not really good. So we don't want these records. So how to remove them? So there is an option called remove rows. Remove top, let's say 5 records. Okay. Now you see this is also needs to be removed. So again, do I need to remove one more? No. You need to just go to this gearbox. Okay, and you click on this, you can add one more. So at any point of time, you can go back and see previously something like this, and after this, you can do something like this. This is one of the powerful, mechanism, the applied steps that you could see at any point of time. This is your source, and then the change data type, then this remove, and then this is the header basically. So use first row as a header. Yesterday we have seen this. And the same thing that you could also see here, use first row as a header. Sometimes your data will come without a header. Okay, but by default the Power Query will choose the first row as a header. So you can push that as a first row and write your own header. Sometimes header might not come. So that time you need to use this option. So header is, there's no header, that is actually a data record. You just push that down and make it headers like column 1, column 2, so that I can rename and I can give the names. So that is the second option. Okay, so what we have done, we get the data from this CSV file, and then we removed this top 6 rows, and then we promoted a header use first row as a header, and then the change data type is automatically done. So that's what we have done. Okay, so far so good. Now let's get the second file. That is also CSV file. Now let's get this. So I'm not going to Power BI desktop, directly from Power Query only I'm getting this file. So that is the reason there's no transform data. It's directly click so that it will be in the Power Query only. Now you see here we have a junk records here. You see NA wantedly kept like this. So how to filter this? So now with this first file we understand how to remove them top rows, but they are in between. So now I need this record to be not to be deleted. So I cannot remove top 6 records because it should be there. So if that is the case, then how can I remove this NA? Right? Very simple. Either you can go to this here and you look for NA here and remove this. Okay, and click OK. So first of all, use first row as a header. So this is the first row as a header. Okay. So first let's remove this. First make it first row as a header. Okay, this is perfect. Now let's work on either you can first see whether this all the records are valid records or not. Okay, now you see when you filter it, it is filtering entire record, entire row. Okay, fine. Now let me remove. Is it only work for this? No, you can also do it from here. Here it's in the alphabetical order. MN, you see here. And if you want to check that, you can also check that. You can see from wherever you filter, entire record get filtered. So that's how it will work. So it will inside this, it will work like a table. So that's what you need to realize with this exercise. Okay. Now so now if you filter here also you could see, and you could see load more. Of course, you can see all the data, and you can just remove it. So either you can remove here, not a matter. Entire row will be removed. And if you click on this gearbox, you will see. So time does not equal to NA. So which means all NAs are removed. So that's how you can understand the steps. Of course, we will do this exercise again and again in the upcoming sessions on upcoming reports. Okay, so you need to do now. This time I don't want to go with CSV, but I want to go with Excel. The third file I want to get it from Excel. Now you see this is the one. It's going to be. So why it is still loading? Because it's trying to create a table on top of this. You will get it here. So if you wait for some time, but that's okay. I can do it my own. So you can simply click OK. You want to depend on that Power Query to be done. Now you see it's created. Now you see there is a black color. So yesterday also we removed some errors, how to do error handling, how to clean the errors. Most of the cases you see based on the data types. So what are the data types that you could see here? So the data types basically decimals, which is dot you could see, and dollar fixed decimals like 1, 2, 3 whole number, percentage, date, time, zones, okay, duration, text, true or false, binary, and locale. Okay, so these are the data types. You will get some issues, most of the issues for the data types. Very simple. Okay, so now based on this black color, what can I understand? If you go to the view, you see this column quality that there is a 1% empty. Simply you can click on remove empty, but so we should make sure that we are removing the right record. Okay, so to do that, let's first understand what is that empty. So is this null one, this one? So here we actually removed this NA. Here we removed some top rows. Here we are removing this null values. Okay, so yes, these are all invalid records. Of course, we can simply go to this filter, and instead of equal, we can say does not equal. Simply, that's it. They're gone. Okay, now you need to check whether do we have any invalid records here. No. Okay, sometimes Other records also might be there. So now you see this a black color which represents empty, 100% empty, you see, but it is not 100% empty. This is kind of a metadata issue. Okay, while developing the tool, Microsoft might not be properly tested this, but it is usually coming in every month when I check. But how it will go? So you simply click this side and go this side. Simply just come back. So now you see revalidated. Now it's giving complete green color. Okay, it's a kind of metadata configuration issue, but that's okay. Now you see there's no empty values anywhere. All are valid data. Okay, and this is the column quality. Now you can also check column profile, and which will talk about the number of records, and you can check this count only for the top 1000, but you can also change it to entire data set. Okay, so you can change this and see like how many empty files are there, how many distinct values are there, everything. You will get a proper stats to understand this row alone, and like that you can check for everything. But it is because only top 1000, but if you change this to entire data set, then you will come to know this data set is actually how many years of data that you could see. It's ideally should show from 2050 to 2100, which means 50 years of data. So when you check for entire data set, then only you will get this column profile proper, and it will also check any errors, data types, and everything. Each and every record will be validated. You see, from 2052 to 2051. Of course, order is not correct, but yeah. So you could see from 2050 to 2100. You can see total distinct values are 51 years of data that you could see here. And minimum value is 2050, maximum value is 2100, and average it's giving, but it's an year. So you can see all these calculations, but of course it might not be useful for you at this point of time. But that's what you need to understand column profiling, to understand your data better. Okay, so but you see this option, the profiling option by default for top 1000 rows, but because to improve the performance, it would be stick for top 1000. But if you want to understand your data completely, and you see some errors, then you can go for entire data set. Okay, we will talk about that maybe later, but you can also convert this into this text. This is coming from like this, and column distribution also you could see how many unique values and how many distinct values out there. So you could check that. And this formula bar, you see this Excel formula kind of thing that you could see here. It is because of this. Okay, you click outside. If you just remove it, it will go. And and this applied steps also you could see here. That's gone. But if you click it, it will come. So this is high level thing. But that's what. So what we understand so far, we extracted the data from two CSV files, one Excel file. So whatever the file it is, whatever the source it is, once enter into it will become a table, and there will be applied steps. And there are data types issues. There are filtering, okay, removing top rows, filter the junk data, filter the null values. So all the filtering concept that we understood, and use first row as a header. If there is no header, push the record to down and create a new header. So these are all the concepts that we have seen. And we understand applied steps. We understand some gearboxes. And if you click on source gearbox, here you can see this is my E drive. So if I ask you to do, if I give you a file, then this path is to be your path. When I share this PBX file with you, and you will get an error if you just come and see here. Okay, the reason because that is pointing to my E drive. In your laptop, you might not have E drive. If you have E drive, then you might not have the same folder structure what I created in my E drive. So that's where you need to come and change this. Of course, we can make it a lot of dynamism in this using parameter concepts, but that will be discussed in end of the course. That is professional and real-time scenarios. How we follow all those stuff will be discussed. So far we realize that this all these three files are same structure. And then I asked my architect, so what to do? I've extracted, I realized that all of them in the same structure. Number of columns are 9, and I will also, now what is the count of each file? So how do I know? It is saying that 9999 plus, which means plus means what? 1000 only? 2000? 3000? No, it could be more than that. So this is not a reliable count, but actual count you are going to get it using this count rows. You see, this first file is having this much data. So let's note down this here. This is a file 1, and the count of this file 1 is this much. Okay, and let's take this file to remove this, and let's go to this. And so by then you should know how to get the count of it. Okay, take this file number 2, and put this count here. Okay, and then take this and transform this and click on the count data, and this is a third file, and you can actually do this. So almost 6 lakh records. In other words, 600,000 records. Okay, so this looks like this should feel like a real-time data. Okay, so you should feel that is a real-time project, and that's how you start working. Ask me after this after this class, you can ask me source files, I will give you. You should start practicing this with my recording, and on your own sometimes. Okay, but this population report you should practice at least 2 to 3 times minimum, I'm telling you. So this will give you a lot of confidence, I'm telling you. Not only these steps, but of course, when we will finish this in maybe 2 to 3 days, the entire project. Okay, so by then you will realize like the concepts that are involved in this concept. Okay, now when I ask my architect or team lead, or he just suggested that you have created this population, you need to prepare this combined file. So how to create a combined file? So because of this, they are same structure, we need to combine them. So how to do combine? There are concepts called append. If you see append, so you can append like a kite tail. Okay, so number of records we can append to the table. Okay, so I'm going to create append new. Okay, so we will see how they basically work. Okay, I will do an experiment. So we can do either 2 tables at a time or 3 or more tables at a time. Okay, now you see it's saying the table. Okay, but you see it's queries. Okay, so it could be a query, it could be a table. Once entering into Power Query environment, it will become like a table. Okay, so now you can add this, you can also add this, you can increase, you can just downgrade this. You see, if you come down, you see you can push down that. So you see, you can again, you can click it, you can delete it, and you can just push up, push down. So you can just understand this append wizard. Okay, so just click OK. Now you see it's just created a separate file. Now you need to understand this count. What is this count? It should be around 600,000. You see, 631. Now you can go to this document and you should open up calendar and just take all of them, and it should match. So this file name should be, they've already given in the diagram. So it should be population combined. So let me give a name called population hyphen combined. Okay, dots it will not take, so we should not give any full stop. So now this population combined file data, it should match with this. So as a tester, as a unit testing, you need to open calc and you can test it. 208 950 plus 208950 plus 213119 is equal to, you see, 631,029, 631,029, which means single record is also not missed into this combined. So we made it a single file instead of three files. Why? Because of the structure is same. We will see how this append will work, okay, in a different scenario. But for now we combined it. After combining, it's saying that it should be something like this. So country ID, country, year, group, gender, population. Let's do this. Okay. So location ID is nothing but country ID. So let's rename this. Okay. So this location is nothing but country. And you see the data type is not properly set. It is actually a date column, but there's no qualified date. So I'm just going with this whole number. Okay. And we can give this as a year. So that's what they told. Now they want age group. Of course, age is there. So we need to say hyphen GRO UP. Okay, age group. Okay. So now you can see that time become year, age GRP is become age group, and they don't want this too. So we will remove them simply. And here they after age group you want gender, and gender is available in the header, but we want in the column as a male, female, male, female, male, female. And we want only a single population column. I don't want separate male population, male, female population. Okay, so for this what we can do, yesterday we have done unpivot. So today we are going to experiment append and unpivot, two exercises that we are going to do as a rough notebook. Okay, so you need to be very confident after the session, so you should know when to choose append and what are the append rules and how this unpivot will work. Okay, for now let me do it and we'll come to that point. So go to transform, you can choose unpivot columns. Okay, so what is this? Let me remove this. Okay, we don't want this total population because we will create a measure for this. We will talk that later. So let me remove this. So you take this, and again let me do unpivot. Now you see we got this gender and we got this population. And this is a decimal, we have decimal, so let's configure that as a decimal. And this is of course that. But here you see there is a problem called pop. So we don't want this pop. Okay, so we will come to that. First of all, there are two important concepts that we need to understand first. How this append works. You have appended because there is a 9 columns here, 9 columns here, 9 columns here. Okay, so and then you combined it again. Here it's also a 6 columns, but it's 6 columns because we removed a couple of them here. But if you go to the source, you see 9 columns. And the source, if you see that this is combining of all these three tables. And after that we have done a lot of things. So now it's only 6 columns. Because we made it population, we removed that age group, start, range, and sometimes span, age group, span, something we removed here. You see these 2 columns we removed. And total also we removed 3 columns. Okay, so that's where now you could see only 6. But how this works? So for this, I'm going to open up a new Power BI desktop as a rough notebook. Okay, if you think this is a fair and a real-time project and you test these concepts, how to test any concept. So this is one of the kind of a proof of concept that I teach for any concept that you need to understand. Okay, so for this basically I'm going to tell you one of the concept called enter data. So you can just enter your own data and test the concepts. So here I'll say serial number, name, and amount. Very basic data that I'm trying to take. Serial number is 1, amount is 10 rupees. 2, BBB and 20 rupees. C, CCC and 30 rupees. Okay, this is table 1. Let's create table 2. But I'm going to duplicate this. Now I'm going to see duplicate is nothing but you see the image Xerox. So Xerox paper. I just make it as it is. And before I do, I would like to change some data. Okay. So here I'm going to change SNO and in amount. Okay. So and here you can give a different let's say one we will keep duplicate as it is. We will keep let's say third record like DDDD and let's give 40. Now you can also give let's say fifth record and E and you can say let's keep it 30 rupees. Okay, and click OK. And this is the table 2. So instead of table 1 we can say table. So I've just changed something. Okay, so what is the difference? Now you could see name of the actually same names only, but when you see this capital letters, small letters, that is the difference. Okay, of course we keep one duplicate record, one different record, another different record. We have just kept something like that. Okay, so now let's do append, how they work. So append as a new. Now I'm going to do two tables. So let's create a new. Now you see serial number is coming here, serial number also coming here. Why? What is the problem? Ideally, we should expect these two come here, but it is coming here. This is coming here. Then what could be the problem? Name, you see name is here, here. Amount is here, here. So then we understand that. Okay, we are creating the rules now. So to do the append, name of the column should be same. Name of the column should be same. Let's make it same. So either you can change it here or you can change it here. Anything is fine. Let's change it here. S dot no dot. Let's see how this result is going to be. Now you see all of them coming into a single. Of course there is a C, so I will make this as a text because C cannot be converted. If you convert this into a whole number, you will get an error. You see, this is an error because C cannot be converted. So that's where you need to understand the data types. So now you can convert this into a text. That's fine. Now you see name is not same because either you can change this name here or here. Now this time let's change it here. So name. Now you see name is coming. Now you see amount is also something like that. Let's make it this a capital A. Now you see here 3 records, here 3 records, and you got 6 records. Clean record. You see this record is duplicate here and here same. So it will keep the duplicates. It will not delete the duplicate. That's where we have seen the count. Each file, there could be some duplicates, but of course there won't be any duplicate. But if there is a duplicate also, it will keep the duplicates. So what is the rule number 1? Rule number 1 is name of the column should be same in both tables. Then only a proper append will work. If not, it will fail. No, it won't fail. It will treat it as a new column. Okay, it will be checked. Now tell me what if the order is different. Let's say name is this side, amount is this side, let's say. Okay, will this work? Of course it will work. It will not give any problem. So name, it will look for the name, that's it. If the names are matching, that's okay. Order is not a matter. And it will keep the duplicates. Note down these points. How append works. So name of the column should be same. Order is not a matter. And it will keep the duplicates. And number of columns should be same. What if number of columns are not same? Let's also experiment that. Let's go to this table 1 or table 2. You can add another extra column. So let's say department. Let's say D1, D2, or D3. Something like that. Okay. What if there is no department here? Then you see nothing. The department will be created, but wherever there is no other department, it will populate null values. You will not get any error. But ideal append is number of columns should be same, name of the column should be same. Data type is not a matter. How do I know that? Because if you come to serial number here, ABC data type, but if you come here, it is a 1, 2, 3 data type. But they properly gel together. There's no issue. Okay, so based on that, what we can understand, there's no issue with the data type. Okay, number of columns should be same, name of the column should be same, and if number of columns are not same, null values will be populated from other table. Okay, so all those things that are important, and it will keep the duplicates. Okay, so these are the append rules. These are the append rules. Okay, so now you might be note down while going through this recording, and if you have any other creative thought, you can test in that way how they work. So now you should be very, very confident that how append will work. So now I've shown with 2 tables. You can do with 3 tables, 4 tables, 5 tables at a time. You can do append. You can test it. You can do at a time, 3 or 4 tables also at a time. You can test that as an assignment. You create, note down the assignment. Take 4 tables and do append. Okay, and send that file to my email address. My email address is this: Mahendra Academy Pro @gmail.com. Okay, so that I can see like how many of you have done are following the same pace of understanding. Of course, our sessions may be too deeper sometimes. It may go, but you need to be catch that. You need nothing. You have to it's very simple and easy concepts, but only thing is you need to be practiced. Okay, that's where I always recommend do this for 3 times, do this for 1 time, at least do try this, so that you need to try that, so that you will get a lot of confidence levels. Okay, so now this is append. Are we clear with this? Let me save this file and put it into a October 2023 file and say this is a POC of append with 2 files or 2 tables, you can say. So you can do the same POC with 5 tables and derive the rules. Apply later. We will talk about that apply later. You don't do apply. Okay. So if you apply, the size of the PBX file might change. So don't do apply later, but you can simply close it and save it. So append POC something like that. You save it, and again it will ask apply. Don't do apply. Apply later. So the data will be there in Power Query. It will not come to Power BI Desktop yet. So when you click apply changes, then the data will be loaded. But without loading the data, you can send this PBX file to me in an email, so that I will see how you have done it. Okay, very simple assignment I've given. Of course, I will give you other assignments also. Okay, so now the next concept is unpivot. That's what we have done, this unpivoting concept. Before unpivot, it is something like this: male population, female population. Now when we do unpivot, it become attribute and value, and we renamed it to gender and population, and data type changed. Okay, so now let's understand how this, there are 3 unpivoting concepts, and there is a pivoting also. What is the difference between unpivot and pivot? How to convert unpivot to pivot, pivot to unpivot? So then you should be confident enough that concept area, that concepts also. So are you confident in the append? Just see, type C if you are confident. I want to see who are all actively listening. Just type C. Yeah, there will be a recording, Madhu. You should just go to the recording Okay, and you can come to the questions in the next session, before or after the class. Very good. So I see everybody is very actively listening. Thanks for your response. Okay. Okay, so when you do assignment, when you go to the recording, then you will come to know the subject, because everybody may not be the same in the understanding levels, but if it's like a tortoise and rabbit. So some people will be too much clever, but they don't do hard work. They don't do practice. Someone like me, I'm very poor in the marks or grades, but I do efforts. I do keep on efforts. Okay, so that's where you need to think about. Okay, so you practice whenever I say practice these many times, you should be able to do that. Now here, let me again go to this Power Query, because append is also so pivoting is also unpivoting is also a Power Query concept. So in this case, I'm again going to enter data, so that tomorrow we are going to create these three tables, and I will also tell you the reason why we are creating these three tables. Okay, let me finish this unpivot concepts. So I'm going to tell you the product and year 2021, 2022, and 2023. So for now, let's go with 2023. Let's remove this. And the product is, let's say, banana. It has, let's say, 2 rupees and 3 rupees and 4 rupees. And then mango, 5 rupees, 6 rupees, and 8 rupees. Okay, so that's how this table is. Okay, table 1, let's say product table, whatever you can give, you can give. Okay, so let's give product. Okay. So you have loaded this. Now this is our table. Now let's apply all this, like unpivot columns, unpivot other columns, unpivot only selected columns on this table. So for this, let me make a duplicate. So it will create another table. So this table, I'm going to apply first option, unpivot columns. So let's say we will change this to UC for our understanding purpose, unpivot columns. Okay. Now let me duplicate another one, and we will call this as unpivot other columns. Unpivot other columns. Okay, something like that. And make it one more duplicate. Let's apply the third option, unpivot only selected columns. Okay. Unpivot only selected columns. Okay, something like that. I've taken each one letter from that each word. Okay, first let's do this. So what is this unpivot columns? Simply you select these three columns and use this option, unpivot columns. Okay, this is what it is. It will be, of course. Now what if I select this and use first option? Nothing will come. So this is a wrong one. Okay, so better not to do like this. Do selected columns and do this first option, and change this to year and then the price, something like that. Now what you realized after unpivot, so if you take n number of inputs, not a matter, but unpivot, when you do unpivot, it will create only two columns. One is attribute, another one is value. So this is the rule or principle of this unpivot concepts. When you do unpivot, you take n number of input columns, but output will be two columns only. Out of the two columns, one is attribute, another one is value. Attribute could be year, attribute could be anything. Value could be price, profit, sales, could be anything. But it will create one attribute, one value, one dimension, one fact. It will create. So that is the unpivot. Of course, There are three types of unpivots: unpivot columns, unpivot other columns, unpivot only selected columns. And when to choose what, you need to decide confidently. Okay, now let's go to the second option. After this, I will convert this into a pivoting data, just like the same. When I apply pivot, we will come to that pivot concepts. But let's understand the second concept. Now here it's saying unpivot other columns. So when I just select the same way, if I do unpivot other columns, will it work? No, that is wrong. Again, just like that previously when we. But for what is this right way to do it? So select this one and do unpivot other columns. Imagine these kind of columns are more, and instead of selecting all of them, choose other option. Just select this and say remaining all can be do unpivot. This is one of the smart process. When you have a more kind of a years like this. So what is the difference between this and this? If you say there are number of years or less, I can simply choose this and do unpivot, first option. But imagine in this case, so when you have a more something like this, you no need to select all of them. Select the other columns if you have one or two, something like that. Then use other option so that all can be unpivoted in a single way. The process is different, but output is the same. So here you are selected this one and choose the second option, saying others can be unpivoted. But in the first one, we choose in this individual years and then choose the pivot, unpivot. So only the process is different, but output is the same. But now coming to this third one. So here is the interesting fact. Okay. So this is also similar to the first option, but what is the difference? You have selected these three and you said only do this. Of course, it is done the same way. But what is the difference? When should I go for the third option? When should I go for the first option? Because while the process is same for both of them. You are getting the point? Doing unpivoting is same for first option and third option. When I say first option, this one. And third option, this one. But of course, the second option we have chosen this product and done others. So others made it. That's okay. That's okay. The process is different, but results is same. But what is the difference? When should I go for this? When should I go for this? Okay. So now, if this is the case, simply what we can do, we can test this. Come here, go to the source, add a new column. Let's say we are into 2024. Now we change the price here. So let's change the year 2024, and it could be 5 rupees, it could be 9 rupees. Let's click OK. Now we have added this. Now let's see what will happen. This 2024 will be part of the game or not, unpivot game or not. Yes, this is also part of the unpivot game. You see 24 properly gel. But that's okay. The data type, that's not a big deal. We can convert that into a whole number. That's fine. So this is a proper. Now let's do the same thing here. Let's go to the source, add the new price 2024, and let's give 5 rupees and let's give the same 9 rupees. Let's see whether it will be gel properly or not. This is also properly gel. You see 2024 properly aligned. Hold on. Proper. Now let's come here. Let's see what will happen here. 2024, same 5 rupees. So you need to understand that about the numbers and everything. So the process is important here. Now you see this 2024 is not part of the game because we said only. When you say you just have to unpivot only these three columns. In future, if any new column comes in, they should not be part of this game of this unpivot because we said only means only. That's it. No other thing should be part of the game. Okay, so that is the difference. But whereas this first one, whenever the new year coming in, it will automatically properly unpivoted. But when to choose? If you are very sure that only these three columns should be unpivoted, then go for the third option. Otherwise, the first option is always recommendable. Until unless your requirement is demanding that you should only do those three columns or four columns or five columns, whatever the columns that you have done in the first time, those columns only you have to be unpivoted in the game, and remaining should not be unpivoted. Then only you go for the third option, but otherwise first option or second option is fine. First option, second option, process is different, but the output works the same way. But third option is the concept is different, the requirement is different. Okay, that is the difference. Now let's convert them back to like this. I want to have something like this. This one, and this one. Let's see how to do. There is a concept called pivot. So let's click on pivot and see. Now you see product will create a new column. Actually, I don't want to create a new column as a product. Let's say banana, mango. I don't want some new columns here. Okay, which one I want a new column? Years should be new column. So what I need to do, I need to select this and click again pivot. Now you see, use this name in column year and create a new columns. Yes, I want 2021 one column, 2022 another column, 2023 other column, 2024 another column. So I want something like that. Okay, that is perfect. Now you click on advance. You see the value, whatever here you see, the value will be counting. So I don't want count actually. I don't want to do any aggregations. So let's click OK. What is this? Something is wrong. Let me remove this. This is going to be the new one. Okay. And value column is not product actually. Value column is price. So this is the value column, not this one. So that we have wrongly. Don't summarize, do not aggregate. Okay, let's click OK. Now this is the problem. Okay, so this is looks little typical, little confusing, but I highly recommend do practice this. At least without even putting any brain of understanding this, do 2 to 3 times. Then start putting your brain. Why this something like that? Why should I choose this year column as a separate column? Why should I choose the value column, not product, but the values, the price column? What is this aggregations? Only 3 concepts you need to understand in the pivoting concept. Pivoting is a little different than unpivoting. But now you see this is same as this your first step. Of course, 2024 we have added later, but that's okay. The structure I'm talking about. So when you want a pivoted data, when you want unpivoted data. For reporting, we basically go for unpivoted data. But of course, sometimes your requirement demands for pivoted data, so you should be able to do pivoting and pivoting. Now you are the expert doing unpivoting and pivoting and append also. 3 concepts you should be very good at, and you should be more confident to choose that option. Yes, in this case, this should work. So that level of confidence you should get by after practicing that. Let me know if you don't get that confident. Okay. Now going back to this, here also let's do that. So which one we need to have a new column? This one we should have a new column. So choose that and then click this. And what is the value column? Value column is the value, so you should use value column. And in the aggregation, do not do aggregation, don't aggregate. And you try to see, like applying all these aggregations, you try to see what will be the results. But you need to try. Just understand the game. I told you for the first 4 to 5 times, apply on your own way and try to understand. Don't put any brain. Okay, after 4 or 5 times, then try to understand why this, why that, why this, why that. Then you will come to know. Here, this I want to be a new column. Pivot. What is the value section? Values. Let's see how this works. Don't summarize. Let's see. It's worked perfectly. Of course, order might be changed, but that's okay. Now, what do you understand? How we can now you see source and the last step both are same, because in between we have unpivoted and then we pivoted again. Unpivot concept, pivot concepts. Understood. So let me save this and say that POC of unpivot versus pivot. Save. Apply later. Close. And don't apply. And again save it. Again close it. Apply later. Close it. We will talk about the apply later. Okay. We will talk about the apply later. So now we are clear like how this population has been created, gender has been created. Okay, so I'm going to extract this male, female only. I don't want this pop unnecessarily. So tomorrow we will do that, and we will try to do split or extract. Okay, we will see all these differences between split and extract tomorrow, and then we'll move on to understand data warehousing concepts to create these tables. Okay, hope you are with me, and that's all for the day, and tomorrow we will go deeper into these concepts to finish this population project. Okay, so we have learned a lot today in Power Query. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to call me after the session, or if you want to go to the recording and then you come up with the doubts, that's perfectly fine. Okay, and if you have any other clarifications, 8 to 8:30 is the right time to prepare your resume, to discuss anything. Okay, I will dedicatedly work for your success. This is the right time. Please utilize it properly. For mainly old batch students, I'm telling you. Of course, the new batch students, they will come to know step by step slowly. But if you are already joined in previous batch and you all again joining this batch, if you have some doubts while practicing, then use that time as a right time to discuss with me. Okay, install AnyDesk and ready with your AnyDesk number, and you can call me, and then we can work together to clarify your doubts. Thank you. See you tomorrow.